Hi, gents. This is Mr. Holding. This is just a quick video looking at some feedback for your um, assignment, Year 10 Science on the Gene Lab. Okay, so I've gone through a few of them and want to give some quick feedback on sections 1, 2, and 3. So 1 being the introduction, 2 being recessive and dominant genes, and 3 being the description of myopathy. So I'm just reading some notes here, so while I'm looking up and down. So the first section, you've gone through this, make sure you get rid of all this red stuff. Obviously, I've said that before. For your introduction, delete this section here. So the 50 words part, leave the subheadings, that's important, leave them in there. In here, write a brief summary of the purpose of the report, including who is the intended audience. In this case, it's the Devon Rex reader. So basically, for this part, you need to be formal. Okay, so it's not a matter of just talking casually. You need to have a formal language, and you need to outline the purpose of the report. Why? What is this report aiming to do? Who is it done for? Who is it directed at? Okay, so this report is commissioned by who? So there's some information here about who you are and who's looking for the information. So your client is a Devon Rex, so you're doing it for them. Okay. So this report is commissioned by the Devon Rex reader or something for the purpose of doing whatever. Okay. The report aims to do what? Okay, so it's commissioned by this person for this particular reason and aims to identify the best possible breeding pair for the breeder's Devon Rex dam, which is the female cat. So, okay, so you need to use formal language and explain the purpose of the report. And that's all you've got to do for the introduction. The second section is recessive and dominant genes. Again, get rid of this part here. I don't need to see the word limit. You need to leave the title, and then get rid of these. How the genes pass from parents to offspring, what are dominant, recessive, and how they express. So first of all, you need to talk about genetic inheritance. So what is genetic inheritance? How do traits and things get passed from parents to offspring? Okay, so you're talking about passing on of genes. Okay, so how they're passed from, parent to offspring. And then you need to go into this concept of dominant and recessive. All right, what is a dominant gene? What is a recessive gene? Okay, and then you can also go into the concept of, what happens when you get autosomal dominant. So 2 dominant genes, hetero or homozygous dominant, I should say. Heterozygous dominant, so 1 dominant and 1 recessive. So the idea of a carrier. All right, someone who doesn't express the disease but still carries it. And then, of course, a diseased animal. Okay, and finally, you're doing this on cats, so talk about cats. Okay, so there's no point talking about human diseases. You find an example that you can use that's referring to cats, and my suggestion would be to talk about myopathy, because that's what the whole assignment is. So when you refer to dominant and recessive, the dominant gene for myopathy is a healthy gene. Okay, whereas myopathy is a recessive, it's autosomal recessive. So when you're talking about dominant recessive, don't use some obscure example about humans, because this report isn't about humans, it's about cats. So do that. Use examples, label, illustrated diagrams. On that, if you're going to use a diagram, fantastic. Picture that uses 1,000 words, but don't just plonk it in there. It's not for art. If you're going to use it, pick one that illustrates something that you're talking about and refer to it. Okay. And finally, the other thing is this section needs to be heavily supported by references. Okay. You need to actually go through and provide evidence to add credibility to your work. So I've said before, minimum of 5 references, absolute minimum of 5 references, but you should be aiming to get, up to about 10. Okay, and if you find a source that supports, a couple of sources that support something you're saying, then use all of them. Okay, because what that says, it says that what you're saying is supported by this person, and this person, which adds credibility to you. Finally, the description of myopathy. All right, what is myopathy? What are its effects? Can it be treated or cured? How common is it? Is it a recessive or dominant genetic disorder? Again, like before, it needs to be formal. Okay, so no I, we, me, or our. I did mention that up here as well. Okay, so in either of these, or the introduction as well, not I, not we, it's this report is going to. A dominant gene is this, a recessive gene is that. Okay, not I do this or we do that. Same thing down here. Talk about specifics. Okay, what is myopathy, and be specific to cats. Again, I've already read 3 or 4 assignments, draft assignments, where people are talking about humans. We don't care about humans because we're talking about myopathy in Devon Rex cats. So what is myopathy in Devon Rex cats? How does it affect them? What happens? Okay, what are the effects? Okay, does it cause them to be sleepy? Does it cause them to be angry? You know, you obviously, neither of those are correct, but what are the effects on it? Okay, long-term effects, short-term effects. How do people work out, oh my God, my cat does have myopathy? How would you tell if you didn't have the genetic test? Can it be treated and cured? Okay, now these two things are very different things. Cured means fixed, like as in cured completely. All right, now it's an autosomal recessive disease, so I would assume not. Okay, you've got to do the research and find whether that's the case or not. Whereas can it be treated? And treatment is treating the symptoms. Okay, so for instance, if I cut my arm, I'll treat it with a bandage. I haven't cured it, but I've treated it. Okay, how do you treat the conditions of myopathy? Can you? Are there vitamins you can take? Is there physiotherapy treatment for cats that can help? Is there any treatment for it? So be careful. These two things are different. How common is it in Devon Rex cats? How common is myopathy in Devon Rex cats? Is it 1 in 100? Is it 1 in 1,000? Is it 1 in a million? Okay, and then finally, is it recessive or dominant genetic disorder? Okay, we've already said, it's written on the task sheet, it's autosomal recessive disease, so you need to just explain that. What does that mean? And again, using labels or diagrams to help your explanations. And to help your explanation, you need to actually refer to them. Don't just put them in there and hope for the best, because if you don't refer to them, they mean nothing. Okay, so make sure you label them and point out what you're using for. I think that's it. I'm going to do a bit of a quick video on sections 4 and 5, but many people haven't actually got to that yet, so I thought I'd just do 1, 2, and 3. Hope you find this helpful.